Just want to show you guys something real quick. This is my agency revenue in the last 30 days. This is the last 90 days, 335. And just to refresh the last 30 days again, 120. So guys, my name is Fox. I'm a 26-year-old, and for the past few months, my OFM agency has cleared consistently over $100,000 a month. But 11 months ago, it was a completely different story. I was broke, living in a rough part of OKC, eating ramen noodles every single night. And this isn't some rags to riches bullshit story. This is a story about failure, about me getting scammed and how one decision completely changed everything. I went from 0 to 100K in the fastest time frame in the industry, all while I had a completely automated agency that was pretty much 100% passive income. Again, I'm from Oklahoma, not a Stanford graduate, and all it took was a 5-hour work week. In the next 30 minutes, I'm gonna break down my entire story and the 3 biggest lessons that I learned from going 0 to 6 figures inside of an OFM agency. So I hope you like it. I think I wanna start where I really started getting invested in an entrepreneurship journey. So I've always been in sales. I sold cars. Then I went into banking for a little bit. Realized you needed a college degree to go anywhere in that field, so I left and then did armed security, and made good money. But it was just at the expense of like hourly wages. So $16 an hour, just grinding it out. And then went back to the car business. And when I went back to the car business that time, I was really trying to make as much money as possible. And it was during the pandemic. And I was making like 14K a month. So I was doing pretty decent. And ended up, the pandemic slowed down, decided to quit, and just moved on to another place. And then there was a time where I was going to France a lot. And when I was in Europe, like I saw all these beautiful places. I'm like, man, I just want to have this freedom to do this whenever I want. And there's always like a thought in the back of my head. I always wanted to have the opportunity to work remotely, but I never figured out how I could do it. So what I would do is I'd sell cars and then I'd save up my money. I'd go to Europe all summer and I'd blow it. And then I'd come right back. And the part that sucked is I'd have to come back from Europe and go back to the States and go work again because I ran out of money. And so that continued to happen. And I think like a light bulb really went off in 2020. It was either 2021 or 2022. Pretty sure it's 2022. But this light bulb went off in my head about how, people are making money online. I see it, happens all the time. And I really wanted my piece of that pie. And so like the whole summer I was there, was enjoying it. And then I was there for about 3 months. And the last month I really just got locked in this idea of like, I want to start a business. I want to figure out what business I'm going to run. I want to start a business. And I want to see if I can make this work. And so I watched a full course on Eamon Ghazi's, pretty much brand scaling with like ads and running ads for companies. And that video wasn't a year old at the time, but I still watched the whole thing front to back. I watched the book launch for $100 million leads. And I got just super fucking motivated. I got so motivated, and I just believed that I could find a way to make the money I wanted to make online. And I was there for a month filling out notebooks, taking notes, watching everything. And I spent the whole last summer in France, like the whole last month of that summer, just in my room, taking notes and working on myself. And I didn't realize what I was doing at the time, but I was honestly planting a seed. I was planting a seed that was going to prosper into what it is now, where literally next month I'm about to buy a fucking Lamborghini, and I could literally snap my fingers and move anywhere in the world right now. So with that being said, it's like the little things I've realized that bring you into these fruitions where you become who you become, right? And so I planted that seed, and as time went on, that summer passed, I came back to the States, and I started working at this shithole fucking dealership. It was what they call a dirt lot in Oklahoma. And I'm working there, and it's not paying, like I'm making 10 grand a month because I'm a stud at selling cars, but I'm shackled to this store 8 hours a day. I'm shackled to it. I can't do anything about it. And so I'm there working, and I start to build this brand. I'm going to build an ad agency for dealerships, because I know dealerships well, and I did all my research on the dealerships near me, and they all ran their ads like shit. And so I knew that I could come in, run a lot better ads, get them better ROI, and charge a flat fee to have a client. And so I started working on that. And as I was working at this dealership, like I would have a lot of downtime. So I was on my laptop just grinding. And then I switched to drop shipping out of nowhere. I was like, you know what? This looks like really good. I started watching a lot of drop shipping videos. started seeing like if I could make this work. So launched my first product, flopped. Then I launched my second product and did 50K in 1 month on dropshipping. And at that point, I was like, oh my God, like this internet money is real. I can do it. Like, look at this. I'm literally making money online right now. Like, this is fucking awesome. And, you know, as I'm continuing to like run through this store and really try to get it off the ground, what ended up happening was TikTok, a lot of it was drop shipping and a lot of it was TikTok shop. So I would say 20% of it was drop shipping, and the other part was TikTok shop affiliates, like having my product linked to TikTok shop and affiliates selling it for me. And, you know, back then you couldn't drop ship on TikTok shop. You pretty much can now because they have fulfillment centers, like they have it all set up. So ended up having all those orders go back. Didn't get to touch any of that money, but I touched a 50K month in drop shipping, but I did get to fulfill any of the orders. So I got all the sales, but I couldn't fulfill shit. But I was netting just off the website and stuff, and I had a workaround where like the affiliates could get them to sign up on the website or buy off the website, so it'd be easier, yada yada. But anyways, that's just like the first touch I ever had of internet money, and I did that with my brother. And what's really cool is that my brother went and started a digital business on his own as well. That's a little bit semi-located, like you have to be in person a little bit, but he went off and did his own thing there. And I looked at that and I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like, I wish I was doing that. And so we move on, and you know, things go good in drop shipping, like things are going well. Like I thought I was on top of the world, then, you know, that died out and I had a couple $1,000s left. I was like, okay, I'm gonna launch the products. Didn't really work out that well. And then I had like $1,000 left. I saved this $1,000 like my life depended on it. And I ate nothing, like ate super cheap, was working. This is in the middle of winter. I get my life insurance license from a guy on LinkedIn that recruited me. And I started selling life insurance. And life insurance was, I thought I was gonna kill it. I was gonna be fucking on top of the world, da 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 da. I was grinding leads, like waking up at 5 a.m., buying leads because it's the only time I could buy them in Oklahoma because they'd be available. And I was just, you know, buying leads and trying to grind these leads out. And I was selling fucking policies, and then it took forever to get the money, and then I ran out of money to use the money I made to buy more leads, and so I got stuck in this bottleneck, and I was broke as fuck, and I was like, man, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do? And so, of course, I went back to selling cars, and I think that's like, I really always treated car sales like an opportunity to fall back on, and always knew if I did something and it didn't work out, I could go sell cars. So I was extremely risk adverse. Like I always was taking risks, was really on top of that side of the game where I wanted to make sure that if I took a risk, I'd give it my all, and if it didn't work out, I'd sell cars. And now I don't have that mindset anymore, but it's the mindset I had that would, you know, take me into an opportunity, but wouldn't keep me there. If you understand what I'm saying. Like I would get there, I would put the work in, and then I wouldn't get the results immediately, and then I would literally just pull myself out and go sell cars. And so it gets to this point where, you know, I come back to selling cars after that, and I sell cars a little bit, then I go to France, and then I come back from France again. And I decide, okay, I'm gonna go kill it. I'm gonna go kill it selling cars. I'm gonna go be the best car salesman I can be, make 20 grand a month, and live my life, buy my house, buy my dream car, all of that. So I'm killing it selling cars. I become a finance manager in the dealership. I'm making $15,000 a month. And I buy a black on black 2023 M4 comp. And I get this car, and as soon as I get it, I realize like I want a Lambo. And I realized that like I'm not gonna be able to get it with this job. Like, yeah, making 15K is great, but it takes a lot of effort to get a Lambo, and you're gonna stretch yourself pretty thin making 50K a month just to get a Lambo. And another part of it was like I have a heart condition that I don't really talk about to people. Like my YouTube audience is probably gonna be the only people that know this about me. And the biggest thing about that was the stress that I was under. I was under a tremendous amount of stress at this job at the dealership because there was a super bad hierarchy problem at the top. And I was literally going to the hospital thinking I was gonna have a fucking heart attack. And what ends up happening is one of my brothers worked there. He got fired. My brother-in-law got fired as well. And because, you know, like we just all sell cars. And so they get fired, and Angie, the finance manager, bless her heart, love her to death, the VP of the store comes in and is like, hey, you got to fire Angie, which for no reason. It's just bullshit. And so Shane, my main manager, who hired me, that me, Angie, Shane, my brother, and my brother-in-law, all on the same team. Like, we're a fucking team. Anywhere we go together. And they try to fire Angie, and Shane walks to my office and says, hey, let's get out of here. Making $15K a month at dealership, just bought a brand new M4. Fuck. All right. Because I'm good as dead anyway. It doesn't matter if I stay because I'm getting fired because my team's getting poached. Like, they're gone. And so then there was where I had this huge ego death where I literally had this M4, had an apartment, had everything going for me. I lose my job. I sell my M4 to a BMW. And then I break my lease for my apartment. So I go back to nothing. I'm like, fuck this. I was so stressed that people, like, all those health problems I was having, I still lingered over after I lost my job. And I was literally bedridden for a fucking month. A lot of people do not know this about me, but I was literally in a bed for a fucking month long where I could not get out. I couldn't leave the house. I was having panic attacks like a motherfucker. And I was having like an episode of POTS where, like, I would get up too quick. My heart would be like, boom, boom, boom. And I have to fucking immediately lay down. Like, it was so bad. I couldn't take a shower. I was scared to take a shower by myself. Like, it was really bad. And that was like the lowest I've ever been in my life. It was the absolute rock bottom of my life where, like, I had nothing going for me. And there was someone under the name of Jordan that came along in my life and offered me a position to work inside of a company that was digital and remote. So I got to work from a computer in the comfort of my own home. So I move out of this apartment. I go move back into my dad's house. And I'm like, you know what? It's not about the money. It's about the freedom. It's about being able to do what I want to do whenever I want to do it. So my health ends up getting a lot better. My stress is so much lower. Things are going so much better in my life. Like, I'm just so blessed, and I cannot tell you how blessed I am to have someone like Jordan in my life. That was my boss. That was my best friend. And that really helped me get through the hardest part of my life, and he doesn't even know it. The only way he would know is if he saw this video. And I work at this company and I'm grinding hard. Like, I just give that effort where I just want to work as hard as I can, be the best in the company. And I'm grinding. I start in a call center making like $9 an hour plus 1% commission. And I'm sitting there grinding, and months go by, and I start building out these systems inside their company. Like, let's fix this, let's fix that. Like, and of course I have higher ups helping me do this. Not like I'm just a superhero, but I build these systems out, and I'm just grinding my ass off, get to a point where, I'm starting to make decent money in this company. But it wasn't the 150 I was pacing in the car business. It wasn't that. It was about half, right? But I have this freedom, right? So I take the trip in October. I go to France. I go see my family. I'm working from France digitally. Exactly what I wanted. And then I realized I'm working 5 p.m. to like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning in France. And it sucks. I am still bound to hours in this company. I'm not like, I can't just work on my own. I'm bound to these hours that I have to have. And I just realized at that point, it's like, man, this isn't worth being in France working in this company, because it's just the hours are so taxing. So I go back to the States. I move to Florida, and I start this custom watchmaking business where I'm making these custom Seiko watches. I'm selling them, and all the ones I sell, I have a good profit margin. And I flip them back into the business. And then, I'm still working my remote job. And I mean, at this point, this was literally last year. And like 2024. So this was late 2024, November. And I'm there, all right, I'm gonna scale this up. I'm gonna start selling a bunch of watches online. I'm gonna do it on eBay, blah, blah, blah. Copyright issues, strikes. I'm getting freaking cracked by trademarks, whatever. And then my company comes along and says, hey, we'll give you a promotion if you move to Houston. And I'm living in Florida. I'm loving it. And I'm like, all right, let me just go prove myself again. Let me go prove myself, and then maybe I can have a lot more freedom later on, whatever. I go to Houston, and this is where like everything kind of clicked for me. Because again, I had built these systems in this company where I was handling all these realtors, and I was trying to get them to pretty much use our services, which was a home inspection. And I'm going to these lavish parties, there's Ferraris, there's G-Wagons. I mean, in the Spanish Oaks in Austin, go look it up. It's the most beautiful neighborhood I've ever went into in my life. And it's like unbelievable what these people are making, selling homes. I'm dealing with these realtors every day that are making like $300,000, $400,000 a year, and they're absolutely killers. And I'm hustling right there with them, helping them in their inspections. And it just starts breeding this seed inside of me that's like telling me that there's so much more than what you're doing right now that you could be doing. You could be making so much more money. And then I also have to think about, like, you know, my best friend really put his name on my back to be here. And I was just stuck between this spot. And I was working really hard in Houston, trying to get all these realtors to use our service and like really building out the market. And it just gets to this turning point in my mind where it's like, I've got to do something else. I've got to make more money. I need to be more successful, but I don't know what it is. I had no idea. I had no clue what I was about to do. So I'm sitting there, and this is February. So I'm in Houston for December, January, February, and I'm just sitting there just thinking, like, what am I gonna do? March goes by, and I'm just like plotting. I'm like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna quit this job. I'm gonna go sell cars for 2 months. I'm gonna save up the money, because I was broke. I'm gonna save up the money, and I'm gonna go to Dallas, and I'm gonna sell homes. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. This is exactly the plan that I have in mind to get to the next level. And so I'm a week away from buying this real estate license to the course to get my real estate license. And then a friend of mine, puts a link in her bio on Instagram. I'm like, what the heck? You have a link now? And I was like, hey, what if I manage this for you? I had no idea how to do it. I had no clue. And she knew that too. So I was like, hey, what if I just did this for you? Let me see if I can make this work. And we can just try it out and see how it goes. And so she's like, sure, yeah. And so I was like, oh my God, this might be my ticket. So instead of buying my real estate license, I literally turn around and I'm like, all right, boom. I'm gonna go buy a course. I watch all these YouTube videos. I'm cranking out YouTube videos on OFM, cranking it out. And then I, get funneled into a course, and I get on a course call, and they're like, hey, well, it's $1,200. I'm like, okay, the first payment is $1,200. I can make the next payment whenever, right? And so I make this course payment with money I had on a credit card, to be honest. And I just don't look back. I watched the full course within 3 days. I'm grinding my ass off on this. First day we do like $700. And I'm like, oh my God. We just made $700 in one day. And then the next day, 600. And the next day, 400. And the next day, 600. I'm like, what the hell is happening? We're making so much money right now. And at the time to me, it was like, oh yeah, that's a lot of money I'm making. Like, I'm killing it right now. And so I get a chatter. I went freaking getting started, and I'm pumped up. I'm like, I'm all in on this. This is my business. This is what I do now. Like, this is what I'm gonna do every day. Like, I'm gonna be an OnlyFans manager. And I'm really breeding this belief into myself, like making sure that this is gonna stick. I understand what I'm doing. I'm becoming an expert and a student at the same time. And so the world has a very unique way of pushing you into the position you're supposed to be in. And I had this big commercial Amazon van that I was working on, that I was converting, and it got towed. I had been there for 4 months, and it got towed. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You can't park it at the Airbnb I was getting, that the company was providing for me. Can't park it there. And I'm in Houston. My family lives in Oklahoma. So I go get this van out of the impound. I'm like, okay, I'll just go to Oklahoma for a week, and then I'll come back down to Houston and work here. And so I'm like packing my stuff to put in the van, and I'm texting the model that I manage and telling her kind of what's going on, because we're really good friends. And I'm like, you know what? And at this point, I think we've done like $7,000 on her account in that month, the first month so far. I was like, you know what? It's time to go all in. And that was a very, very hard decision for me to make. Very hard. Because I'm giving up this digital opportunity where I'm basically making $6K a month. It's not too bad, but I'm not happy. And so I pack everything in my van, drive it up to Oklahoma. And I knew when I was coming to Oklahoma that I wasn't coming back to Houston. And I told my boss, I was like, hey, I'm gonna take a week to go to Oklahoma, drop my van off, and come back. And so then I had another week where I was just plotting on what I was gonna do. And the end of that week comes, and my boss is like, all right, let me take you out to lunch. They kind of notice like I'm not working that hard. They don't really know what's going on. And he's out to lunch, and we go to play golf, and he's like, hey, you don't have to go back to Houston. You can stay here. We're gonna build out Austin, Dallas, Houston, all the same role that you're doing, which is business development, and you're gonna manage them. So basically offer me a promotion, which sounds amazing, right? But at that point, I was so bought into what I was doing, I said no. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm actually quitting. I'm not gonna work here anymore. This is what I'm doing. I'm gonna stick to this. This is what I wanna do. This is the goose I'm gonna chase, pretty much. And it shocked him. It completely shocked him that I was about to do this. And I said, give me like 10 days and then I'm going to step out of the company and I'll make sure it's a smooth transition, so on and so forth. And it was a really hard decision. And there was a guy named Chandler that really helped me make that decision. This guy named Chandler is another mentor that I had that really helped me understand that I needed to go all in on this. And Chandler, if you ever watch this, I'm so thankful for you, bro. I really am. And it just showed me that like now is the time. I've got to do this now. I've got to like make this happen. So I quit this job and I go full into OFM. I'm full in. Full every day. I got a routine. I'm after it. I'm on top of everything I need to do on a daily basis. I am taking this as serious as possible and I'm literally going to make this fucking work. I don't care. I do not care. I'm going to make this work. And so every day was a routine. I would wake up, I'd go to the gym, then I would sauna, then I would cold plunge, and then I would make breakfast, I would read 10 pages of a book, and I would manifest for 10 minutes, like as a meditation ritual. And then I would literally stay to a strict diet and I was on this every day. I lived, breathed, and slept it for 3 months. And the first month I did 20K. The second month I did 20K. The third month I did 20K. And then the fourth month of my agency, I did $64,000. The fifth month I did $89,000. And then the sixth month I did $100,000. I've done $100,000 ever since. And now, right now, with this month, the way it's looking, I'm going to do 150, 160. And that is how I did it. It's not from being an OF and like just getting lucky. I had risks for drop shipping. I took risk on life insurance. I took risk on custom watchmaking. I was going to build an ad agency. There were so many stabs that I was taking to try and find a way out. There were so many ways that I was trying to figure out how can I make money online and get to a point where I'm doing really well for myself, right? And don't get me wrong, in those first 3 months, I ate shit a little bit. I was, doing 20K in the agency, about spending a lot of money to figure out systems and do other things to see how I can make it work. There's a lot of things that I was doing to try and really elevate my agency. And a lot of those things worked and some of them didn't. And then I got this huge lift where I did 64K, and I just knew from that moment on that I would never go back to anything else. And I was so committed. And as I talk about the mindset that I had earlier, where it's like I could just quit my job, I could quit selling cars, go try something, and if it doesn't work, I'll just go back to selling cars. I had that mindset when I first stepped in to OFM and when I quit this job, when I quit the home inspection company, and my boss that knew me from selling cars, that was at the home inspection company, told me, that mindset's over. If you quit today, you can never go back to selling cars. You can never go back. And I listened to him. I took that very seriously. And I didn't want this idea that, if OFM didn't work out, I'll just go back to selling cars. I didn't want that mindset anymore. This was it. We're burning the boats and we're never looking back. We are never looking back on going to a car dealership ever again. Never gonna do it ever again in my life. I have a lot of respect for the people that do sell cars because I understand how hard it is. And I know what it takes to win in that game. And it's just crazy how much you grow when you step into a position for yourself that forces you to grow. Forces you to put your back against the wall and then make this actually work. I think by the end of 2026, my agency will do $400,000 a month. And it'll be on autopilot with all my systems operating properly, everything going the right way. And it won't be very hard for it to continue to sustain that. And if you're watching this and you've made it to this point in the video, I made this video for you, not for the people that clicked off 3 minutes in. I made it for the people that are wanting to actually change their lives and need a little bit of inspiration and look from a point where I pull the curtains back and show you how I did it. That's why I made this video. I didn't make this video to flex or anything like that. I'm literally showing you my failures so that you can relate to it, because you're gonna fail in life over and over and over. On average, the average business owner fails 5 times before they succeed. And I understand why now, because you don't have the mindset at the beginning of those developing stages to get to a point where you can handle the adversity. And once you get to a point where you can handle the adversity and you have a good risk tolerance, that's when you succeed in business. So if you're watching this, I hope this really inspired you, because I wish someone would have, talked to me like this or shown me their path when I was really trying to make it coming up. And I just really appreciate that you watched this all the way through.